Hello, math students, and welcome back to Module 10, Percent and Proportional Relationships. The name of this lesson is Percent Increase and Decrease. Our goal for today we will learn how to solve percent problems with percent increase or decrease. The question that I want you to be thinking about is, what amount does 100% always represent? Okay, there are some things that you need to know when trying to determine this, and they are, when an amount changes, it can be called a percent increase or a percent decrease. Percent increase obviously means that the amount that you have will be larger, and a percent decrease means that the amount that you have has become smaller. And so it's your job to figure out what's happening. The way to determine the change is by comparing the old amount to the new amount. The old amount is considered the original amount, or 100%. The new amount is the change that happened as a result of it being increased or decreased. So one of the things that we like to do when trying to determine this is use the quantity equals percent times whole formula. And something that you need to know in order to use it correctly is that quantity, in this specific situation for percent increase or decrease, is the difference between the new and old amounts. So difference means that you subtract, right? So it's the difference between the new and old amounts. Percent obviously is going to be the amount of change or the rate of change, and then the whole is always the old or the original amount, okay? And so the whole is always the original or old amount. And so right here where it says find the difference between the new and the old and then use the formula, what you actually have to do is you have to subtract the new and the old. So you're going to take whichever one it is and you're going to find the difference between the two, and then you're going to plug that amount into this formula, and you're going to figure out what the percent of change would be. So one of the things that I would like to do is I would like to practice this. So it says an item was selling for $72 is reduced to $60. Find the percent decrease, and then once you do find that, you actually have to find the percent, and the percent needs to be rounded to the nearest tenth. Okay, so we're going to follow our steps up here that we said. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to find the difference between the new and the old. So this guy right here would be considered the old, and we know it's the old because it said it was reduced, so this one is going to be the new. So we're going to take 72 minus 60, and we get 12. So this right here is considered the difference. Okay, and so if we go back up above and we read what it says, quantity means the difference between the new and the old amount. So this is the difference, so that's 12. So then this would become your quantity. So here's quantity equals percent times whole, because that's the formula that we're using. Okay, and so 12 becomes the quantity because it's the difference. And then percent, we don't know, so we're going to put a variable, times the whole, which is considered the old, so we would put 72. And then, in order to solve this, this is an equation that you guys have been working with, and you're just going to use your VU chart. So my variable is x. What did I do to x? I multiplied it by 72. So to undo that, I have to divide by 72, and I should get the value of x. So I'm going to divide by 72 on this side. 72 divided by 72 is 1. 1 times x gives me x. So now I have to do what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. And this says 72, or 12 divided by 72. And I actually think that the easiest way to do that is just divide it, because then you can figure out your answer. So 12 goes in the house, 72 goes out the door. And so we are going to start. If we had two 72s, then that's 144. So we already know that that's too much. 72 cannot go into 1 evenly. 72 cannot go into 12 evenly. 72 can go into 120 one time, and then you are going to subtract. That becomes 8. That becomes 4. Bring down another 0. And so we know 7 times 7 is 49, so that's too big. Let's try 7 times 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Regroup the 1. 7 times 6 is 42, plus 1 is 43. So that worked. So that becomes 7, a 10, an 8, a 4. And look at what's happening. We have a repeater. So, as you can see, that's a repeating. So I'm just going to multiply this number right here by 100, because remember, anytime you're taking a decimal and turning it into percent, you have to multiply it by 100. So I'm going to take 0 and 166, remembering that it's a repeater, and I'm going to times it by 100, and I get that, and I have 1, 2, 3 places, 1, 2, 3, so I get 16.6, and if it kept repeating, it would go 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 forever. That's why it says round to the nearest tenth. So now I know that x equals 16.7%. And so now you just found the percent decrease. So to finish it up, we can write 12 equals 16.7% of 72. And if you check that with a calculator, you will notice that it works. Okay? And we proved that the original price decreased by 16.7%, and that's how you got the new price of what was going on. Okay? And so this is your percent decrease. It decreased by 16.7%. Okay? And if you had an increase, then you would do the exact same thing, because all you have to do is find the difference between the increase, and then it would tell you what was the percent of increase. Okay, so I'm going to flip the paper over and let's try that one on the back. So if the original amount, we're going to say the old price was 72, like it was, the new price this time is going to be 95, and I would like you to figure out what would be the percent increase this time. Okay, so remember, the steps are you find the difference between the two, so we need to find the difference between these two, all right, and then we have to use the formula. So we're going to take 95, we're taking 95 minus 72, so that gives me 3, that gives me 2, so that's the difference. Okay, so 23 is the difference, so we have quantity equals percent of whole, and so our quantity is going to be the difference, which is 23 equals, we don't know, and the original was 72. So again, you're going to use your BU chart. Our variable is x. What did we do to x? We multiplied it by 72. So to undo that, we divide by 72, and we're left with x. I'm going to go a little faster because we just did this, so this should be very, very familiar to you. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. And so now we're going to take 23 divided by 72, and we're going to say 3 times. So that's 6, that's 21, and so now we're subtracting 4, 1, bring down another 0 because we're trying to find our percents. If we do 2, then it'll be subtract, and we get, we have to add it to the original. All right, so let's go back for just a minute and look at our goal for today's lesson. Today, we will learn how to solve percent problems with percent increase or decrease. What amount does the 100% always represent? And the answer to that is the old, or the whole, or the original. 3 different words. So 100% always means the whole, the old, or the original. Okay? All right, kiddos, that's all I have for you today. Talk to you soon. Bye.